Hello, guys, and welcome to the first session of the AI for Climate Activists. And today we are going to go through a session called Understanding AI and Why It Matters for Activists. So, today, basically, we're going to do a breakdown of what matters the most. Um, First things first, the objectives of today's session are going to be understanding what AI is in simple terms, breaking down AI and its potential, and exploring what impacts AI have on activism. So, the layout of our upcoming sessions as follows. We're going to have a set of sessions talking about the threats, what are the impacts of AI on climate activists and on activists in general, realistically, and then we're going to step by step get to understand how to use AI ethically and what are the most important um, aspects that artificial intelligence can help us as activists doing our work, and last but not least, the environmental impacts of artificial intelligence models. So, without further ado, let's get started. So basically, artificial intelligence is all around us. And how is that? I want you, for instance, to reflect a little bit um, on how much did you use AI. So what was the mobile app or website that you used the most in the past week. That is not ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Claude, Gemini, or whatever other artificial intelligence language-based models. So just think maybe social media, what type of social media you did use, or whatever it is, maybe search engine or YouTube or whatever it is, and reflect whether or not do you think it uses artificial intelligence models? So you can pause, think a bit, and answer. So, for instance, Instagram, X, Twitter, Facebook, Google Meet, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and even the settings app on your phone um, actually rely heavily on AI. For instance, they all do have some algorithm working in the background, getting to let's say tweak and furbish how you use the mobile application or the website itself or the social media channel itself in a way that is based on how the machine learned the patterns that you had. So that is artificial intelligence. And for us to break down AI, it's not just magic, it is science. So the way artificial intelligence models started is basically as if, else, if iterations. It's basically sets of loops where you can give a certain condition that, if met, a statement will be executed. If not, the system will look for an alternative statement that is pre-coded to it. So, for instance, if if I want to activate the AC, for example, I have to press a button on the remote control. So if I have the remote controller, I press a button and the AC works. If not, maybe there is no batteries. If there is batteries, so it's if the remote controller have batteries, then activate the AC. If not, check for batteries. If not, check for etc. 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 So this is basically what does it mean. It's a set of loops that are basically iterations of if if. So if not that, do that. If not that, do that. If not this and this and this, then do that or that or that. So that's how it started. That's the primitive artificial intelligence model brain so far. But the current crumble is that artificial intelligence models nowadays rely heavily on complicated mathematical and statistical equations. So, what does that mean is that basically AI models turn everything into numbers, um, do the math, learn the patterns, and then come up with an output. So, for instance, let's say an image recognition, artificial intelligence models. So, image recognition happens through turning image into a grid of pixels. So, that grid of pixels is going from 0 to 255, 0 to 255, and there are basically um, paths that are crossed in between that. The system works the equation and decrypts what the image looks like in order for it to eventually um, bring it together again and then come up with an outcome. Also, in audio recognition, for instance, when I say, "Hey Google" for my voice assistant, it does convert my voice into equation, into some sort of decibels or something like that, and it tries to matches if my phone recognizes that sound specifically. So it launches the artificial intelligence model. No, it launches the assistant, the virtual assistant. So that's how it basically um, works nowadays. So you input something, it turns into an equation, it runs the maths and gives you an output um, later. Um, this is a game that I want you to even try for yourselves. So it's basically guess the imposter. And let's try to guess which one is AI generated versus which one is the real photograph. I want you to take a second here, pause the video, make your guess, and so yeah, this is the result. There is loads and loads of AI versus photograph websites out there that provide this sort of game. So you can try it for yourself and give yourself a chance to understand how good artificial intelligence models has become nowadays. So it is hard or sometimes nearly impossible to tell apart. But if in this case we just look close enough, we can spot imperfections in the AI generated pictures. So basically, weird texture, um, some overly retouched areas, some blurring that is a little bit deep for a depth effect picture, that all can get us to understand that, yeah, this is an artificial intelligence model generated picture. Next is, why should activists care about AI? So, because there is pros and cons to everything in life. The pros here is the adapted tools to ease up our work, the access to resources, and the easier outreach planning. So, artificial intelligence model can do the translation, can do the data analysis, can do the can do basically everything on your behalf. But you should always have a checklist that helps you, in the end of the day, check whether the work that the artificial intelligence did is good enough or not. But the cons is the cons are actually really sort of discomforting because there is a lot of disinformation, there is a lot of hallucination, there is also surveillance and profiling used against the activists in general by third party companies or by governments themselves or stuff like that, and the bias answers and exclusions because unfortunately artificial intelligence models nowadays are not made with the communities or with the indigenous people or with the actual people that are needed to be involved into making. So yeah, But in the end, AI can be a very useful tool if wielded in the right way. And many campaigners nowadays rely completely on AI to get work done. So a campaign from A to Z, all using artificial intelligence model and through LLMs, which are large language models such as ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatever it is. They do create the caption, they do create the script. Nano Banana from Google can create a whole video or a whole movie or whatever you actually ask it to create in terms of visuals. They can do that, and they can also do the analysis, the data analysis for what hashtags you should do, whom should you target, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's phenomenal, but it needs indeed to be wielded the right way. Um, Now let's go through some real life cases of artificial intelligence models in action that is against the activists. So there is multiple organizations and movement uses generative AI models, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek. Other than that, to create campaigns that turned out to be successful shortcuts that harness the power of new technologies in favor of the activists' interest. But censorship through artificial intelligence recognition patterns also exists. So it would use word recognition or image recognition in order to block access to information. And it limits people's voices. So we've all seen through multiple conflicts that happened throughout the past years. Whenever someone is trying to post about the terrible things that are happening in Palestine, you immediately have your story removed, or the post just goes against community guidelines because you mention um, you mentioned Gaza, or you mentioned the things that are happening there, or even in Sudan, what's happening in Sudan, what's happening in Congo, what's happening in basically some places that are really, really in need of the light being shed upon them. But unfortunately, some companies uses artificial intelligence models just to block and recognize and block um, such posts or such eye-opening facts and stuff like that. So that's one thing. And also, recently there was a facial recognition um, um, thing that happened in Brazil, I guess. Um, so governments are starting to weaponize the surveillance technology to repress activists and to repress strikes, marches, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's sad. That should be illegal even for governments to do. So a quick um, let's say discussion, self-reflection. You can even reflect with your colleagues, your partners, on how can AI help or harm activism in your context. Have you used AI as a helping buddy in any of your work? I guess you probably did by now. It's 2025, so I guess you did use AI somehow. Have you feared or seen harms caused by AI? And what are the best ways to deal with that matter, the AI being a harm or a fear? So yeah, take the time you need, discuss with your peers, and yeah, post in comments, post in your Instagram or Facebook or social media or channels of communication that you have your insights. Another activity that you can do also with your peers is a role play. So you can participate as an activist, journalist, government agency, or tech company representative, and and go through this small role play activity. So the scenario is an AI facial recognition system was used during a protest to identify and arrest activists. So the questions here are: what are your concerns? What is your response or demand as an activist or journalist or whatever it is? And how would you advocate for a change? So have that game with your peers, and yeah, that can help you a lot getting to know your rights and getting to know what can you do or what should you do in such a case. And by that, we come to what we do have next. So next in line is the AI-driven threats to civic space. So it's basically how AI is a threat if used in the wrong way. So yeah, um, get the best out of the session. Ask the questions. There is no question that's too small or too big. Nothing is too technical if it came to your mind. So you deserve an answer for that. Project the information to your daily and real life examples. Share and ask for resources with and from your network. Stay curious and stay critical. Stay awakened and yeah. So that's basically it. Thank you so much. And tune in to power to voices.org. And yeah, thank you so much.